A couple of queers sitting on an orange couch named Tangerine. That's all I remember.
That's all I know. That's our theme song, guys. Welcome back to A Couple Queers. My name is KEARA.
And my name is Lavrin, but you can call me Lauren.
And we are a couple of queers. We're literally a married couple. And we're queer and neurodivergent.
Yes.
And we're content creators. Today we're going to expose ourselves. We're going to talk about how we got canceled on TikTok in 2020. We had viral TikTok fame in 2020.
We got 250,000 followers in 2 months.
Yeah.
In 2020.
That was like when TikTok was really starting to blow up. And so like the creators that were on there at that time were getting like such easy views.
Yeah, because it was so new, right?
Also, we were legit putting like softcore porn on there.
Yeah.
Like low-key, no.
No, we were making out on camera.
We were making
now
out.
You can't do that anymore, really.
You can't do that on TikTok anymore. Like we were on TikTok when like there was no rules.
Yeah.
You could literally make out. Like we had a joint TikTok.
Yes.
Called Bye Daddies.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know. Comment below. Yes. If you followed us at that time.
If you remember Bye Daddies,
comment below.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So literally like we were just bored during the pandemic. We wanted to just like put it in the past. You know, like I feel like we didn't want to like open up that can of worms. And so we kind of just like moved past it and like continued making content, but like on our own pages. So like we haven't had like a joint TikTok other than A Couple Queers Pod, which you can follow on Instagram and TikTok.
And we're going to be posting a lot. We're going to be posting like most of our couple stuff
on there.
There.
So basically A Couple Queers Pod accounts are Bye Daddies 2.0.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. So back to the story.
Okay. So first of all, the reason that we're now opening up about it is because the thing that we got canceled for is now becoming normalized.
And it wasn't normalized like 5 years ago.
No.
Like 5 years ago, it was still very much like you couldn't be this thing, which we will elaborate on.
It was like the LGBTQ plus community literally were the ones that were attacking us. Like it was our own community.
Yeah, it was our own community that were attacking us.
Oh my God. Okay, so.
And there's also like a history behind this too. So like we'll go into it all.
A history?
Like the history of like what was also going on TikTok at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So anyways. Okay. So the story. So it was 2020, June of 2020. We probably had our TikTok account up for like 2 months and we already literally had like 200K. Like our shit was, yeah, like our shit was going viral, like really fast. And we were like, a little freaked out. We're like, oh my God, but we kept going with it. We're like, okay, like this is the start of something new. The start of something new. Start of something new. Start of something new. Wait. You do melody, I'll harmonize.
Okay.
The start of something new. Okay, one more time.
Yes. Why? Okay.
The start of something new. 8.
The Hemis, check them out. Spotify.
We have 2 songs up.
Okay. Anyways.
Okay. So.
Okay, so basically, yeah, we were posting like TikTok dances like everyone did in 2020. We were posting queer shit.
Didn't even notice.
But she's got me rolling.
That kind of shit.
Yeah, and so then we decided that we wanted to post a TikTok about sexuality fluidity.
And kind of like how we resonate with like multiple labels. Like I think we were grappling with the idea at the time that like
it changes every day.
Like we weren't sure, when we're still not kind of sure, if we're like fully lesbian or if we're bisexual or if we're pan or if we're queer. Like we still kind of feel the way that like, you know, we're married now. So it's like, it doesn't really matter Like we're in a lesbian relationship, so we're lesbians.
And we're monogamous.
We're monogamous.
Like, it doesn't really like,
We've both dated men in the past. They weren't the greatest. I would say I was still attracted to them, but not sexually. I think I was only romantically attracted to my ex-boyfriends. You too?
Yeah.
Okay. So like,
never had sex with a man. I'm a gold star.
So if anything, we're biromantic.
Yeah.
We're biromantic.
But like the thing is, like,
homosexual.
I can be maybe sexually attracted to the idea of a man, but when it comes to the time, I'm not. Does that make sense? Like, that's kind of how I was in my relationships with men.
Like, if a pee-pee was right in front of you, what would you do?
Like, no. But I'd be like, okay, like, I, like, thinking of the idea of it, I would be, like, attracted to it. But once it would actually come to the time, I'd be like, no. Does that make sense?
I've never had sex with a man either. Just, like, handy stuff.
Yeah. Screeches and lesbian.
But yeah,
okay,
like,
yeah. So we made a TikTok that was like
exploring that theme.
Yes. And it was like kind of like when people look at us, this is the label that they think that we are. For me, it was lesbian, and then for KEARA, it was straight.
Because of how
we
looked at the time, we were just kind of going off of our physical appearances.
Yeah.
So like I had longer hair. Well, I still do. But I had like a bob, I think, at that time. You had a pixie cut.
We're kind of just going off of like what people have assumed about us in the past.
Yeah.
When like they first meet us.
Yeah.
Or when they're just looking at us from afar and what we've heard from people and all of that.
Right.
And then like after like 5 seconds or so, it would show what our actual like label is.
Yeah.
And for us, we put multiple labels because of how fluid our sexuality is.
Right.
And at the time, I will say we didn't know the label queer. And
or we didn't like, I don't know, like we didn't.
I wasn't educated on what the label queer meant.
Yeah. And how it's like queer is like an umbrella term. And I identify as queer right now just because I feel like that's the easiest label and the thing that resonates with me the most.
I'd say I'm fluid between lesbian and queer.
Right.
Yeah. That was basically the TikTok. And like a lot of lesbians were like, you can't be bi and lesbian at the same time. That's so insulting. And like they just started attacking us. But that wasn't our intention at all. Our intention was basically to say that like we are continually like questioning our sexuality, which makes it feel like our sexuality is fluid.
Right.
Because like I am in a lesbian relationship.
Yeah.
I relate to that label and I feel connected to that label. But at the same time, like if I see a hot guy or whatever, I'm like, oh, like, am I attracted to this guy? Does that mean I'm not a lesbian, like sort of thing? So that's kind of what the idea that we were trying to show through this TikTok and show people that like it's okay to kind of like
have multiple labels or to just like kind of be in between labels or like not know what label you are or not feel like any of the labels suit you. Like that's okay. And like, first of all, you don't need to choose a label. And I've always said this in my YouTube videos, like you don't need to choose a label. You don't need to come out. You can just be existing. But I think at the time, like sexual fluidity was just very taboo. Like
it was not accepted based on like what we experienced.
Yeah, like you needed to choose one or the other. Like you needed to choose either lesbian or bi. So at the time on TikTok, there was this big controversy around people identifying as bi lesbians. I don't know if people are doing that anymore. That is not what we were even talking about, and we didn't even know about this controversy that was going on at the same time that we posted this. So I almost feel like it was like bad timing on our part, and also like we should have just been more clear about it because it was really easily like misinterpreted, and like I still understand that like people got offended by it, and I take full ownership. Like we have a responsibility, 100%. You know, having platforms, and like we have a responsibility to be inclusive and kind and like think of everyone's perspectives. And sometimes the way that influencers or content creators like word things is not the way that they should have worded things. And I'm sure that we could have said it in a different way, but at the time, that's how it went down.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, I can see how people got upset over it. And like you said, like, I also take full ownership over that. Like, we definitely could have worded it differently. We could have like maybe like thought about it a little bit more and stuff like that. It was a very impulse one. I remember us doing it very impulsively.
Yeah.
And yeah, 100% take accountability. Like, it was like, I understand how labels are really important for people and like how it helps them feel seen and know themselves. And it's really important. Like, labels are really important in that way for people to just feel like a place in this world. And I can definitely see how people got offended
for sure
by what we made. And like, we still like feel bad for like doing it and wording it in that way. So if you remember that TikTok and we offended you, like, we're sorry.
We love you and we're sorry. And people make mistakes.
Yeah. And we didn't mean to do that whatsoever, but it's still important for us to like definitely take accountability for that and like notice how important labels are for some people.
Yeah, well, because people were saying that it was bi erasure and it was also lesbian erasure. And I get how they would think that, because like you said, like, people really, really, like, these labels mean a lot to people and it helps them understand who they are.
And there's a lot of history behind them.
And there's like
a lot of like, now they are like getting normalized, these labels, and like not just our community but the world. And yeah, it's definitely like, I can see how the like bi erasure and lesbian erasure definitely came into play. And we're sorry if we offended you when that happened.
But I think also, like, I feel like now sexual fluidity, like having a fluid sexuality, is just so much more acceptable, whereas it wasn't at that time. And I feel like that's what we were trying to say.
100%. That's what we were trying to say.
It in the way that we should have said it.
Yeah.
And so, because I'm literally seeing like TikToks now and YouTube videos now about like people identifying as sexually fluid. And I remember like Googling at the time, or like, Googling on YouTube at the time, sexual fluidity, like in 2020. And there was literally like 2 videos on it. Like, no one was talking about it.
Oh, really?
And like, even then people were like, you can't be sexually fluid because like that doesn't make any sense. And like, if that's your opinion, that's okay too. But yeah, I feel like just with our own experiences, like, our sexuality has really ebbed and flowed, and not within this relationship, but I guess like within our lives, because I also remember a time being really boy crazy. And again, I don't know if that was like just compulsory heterosexuality. I don't know if that was just me looking for like male approval. Like, there's so many factors to it. But I think honoring, you know, how someone wants to identify is also important. Like, how, you know, a lot of people are sexually fluid, and that's a valid thing too.
Yeah.
Because you've also, like, haven't you also been attracted to men in the past?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Even like watching Corn, wink, wink. Sometimes I'll watch it with men in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of Corn do you watch?
The thing is, I kind of pretend that I'm the man.
So like, sometimes you visualize yourself, like, so do you watch straight Corn?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
But like, I visualize me as the man.
Okay. I can see why you would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't like, but the fact that a man is in it doesn't like turn you off.
No. Yeah.
I
really admire the like male body. Does that make sense? Like the abs and
you can
stuff.
appreciate.
I really admire it.
The male physique.
Yeah.
See, for some reason, like, I don't, like, I can't bring myself to watch straight Corn. Corn. It's cone. It's cone. But I will say the very first Corn I watched was gay man Corn.
Okay.
Like 2 dudes.
Yeah.
It's hot. Like, but like, for some reason, if it's like, if there's a girl and a guy, I'm like, ew.
That's so valid. Sometimes I get like that too.
You know?
It's like, it depends on my mood that day.
Yeah.
I watched one the other day that was like strapping.
Was it straight?
No.
Oh, was it lesbian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hot.
I usually watch lesbian corn. Anyways.
Okay, yeah. Back to regular programming.
So what happened was we
posted the TikTok.
We posted a TikTok. We got a huge backlash from it. Like
It was
comments.
a very educational
It was an educational moment
thing
for
us as well.
It was like we really got kind of like our ego like fucking shut down, and we're like, okay.
I also have like
humbled.
I have this deep fear of doing something wrong, and I come from a people pleasing background, and like just seeing all of these people be like, this is like fucked up and like all that stuff. I was like, oh my God, like I just did the worst thing in the world. And like I like went down a spiral, and I was like, oh my God, I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Like people feel hurt because of me.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like I
We
felt
were
so bad.
really
And so I
upset.
told KEARA, I was like, if this is what content creation is going to be, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, my people pleasing and stuff, I'm a human. I make mistakes. I'm constantly being educated. And when you're a content creator and you get all of that attention and you get those followers really quickly, like you're going to be educated and humbled like all the time.
There's always gonna be people that don't like you.
Yeah.
Or don't agree with you.
Yeah. And at that time I was like, with my mental health, like I can't deal with this right now. And so that's when we decided to like end Bye Daddies.
We deleted our account. Well, first we like put an apology video up, and we're like, sorry, like we did not mean to like offend anyone, honestly. Like we should have worded it different. That's not what we meant, wasn't our intention. And I was even getting like DMs on Instagram. I was getting people in my YouTube comments. Like people started coming at us from like every angle, every social media platform, emails. And so we're like, okay, you know what? We fucked up.
Yeah.
We're gonna just delete our account because it's too much.
Yeah.
So we deleted Bye Daddies.
We did.
Bye Daddies was no more.
Honestly, I don't think I know that I was not ready for that type of fame.
Yeah.
And having all of those eyes on me. I also had to do a lot of educating myself and healing.
For sure.
Myself before I could tackle content creation again. Like I think that moment really showed me like, oh, like I need to educate myself. I need to take a step back and I need to heal myself, and I need to like just like do some internal work before I can get back into this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same. We both went through like a huge healing journey after that. And like,
Yeah.
for the next like 4-5 years, we're kind of still in it. But yeah, like I think it almost like made us realize like, oh shit, we need to be really careful what we put online. And we also need to be working on ourselves as we create content and put things out, because we always want to put out content that's heart-centered. We want to make sure that it's all coming from like pure intentions, and it's all coming out of love for the followers, and the intention being to help people. And that's like both of our intentions for every piece of content we make, right? Like is to help people, educate, provide awareness, inform, provide, humor, laughter, whatever it is, but like getting really clear on our intentions and making sure that what we put out there is from a pure place. And even people who put things out with pure intentions sometimes fuck up.
Yeah.
And I've fucked up too in the past. Like,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, we've all fucked up like as content creators. And I think like we just have to know that that's part of the job. Like that's literally part of the job, is like sometimes we got to get called out for things and learn from our mistakes.
It's honestly like good. Like I feel like my followers educate me like
Same.
more and more each day. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be educated, and because it opens my mind up more and it opens my heart up more. And I feel like a big part of my purpose on this earth is to continue to be educated and just keep learning throughout my whole life. Because when you stop learning, like you kind of get fixed in your own ways and stuff like that. So I think it's important to evolve and to just learn different perspectives and gain more empathy towards people. And I feel like that's what that experience really showed me. I was like, I also feel like I need to get to know myself more.
Yeah.
After making that TikTok.
For sure.
I was like, okay, like,
wait,
wow.
what am I?
Yeah. Like, and like you said, I feel like I I've always told myself that my intention for my content and my platforms is to create a safe space for anyone and everyone. But with that, like, comes, like I just said, like, also getting educated and putting in the work to also educate myself as well is really important.
Yeah, because realizing like how many people follow us, how many people's eyes are on us constantly, like we have a duty to make sure that we are speaking out of our hearts.
Yeah.
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 And I think that situation also taught me that I do want to identify as just queer.
Me too.
And of course lesbian, because when it comes to our relationship, we're literally in a lesbian relationship. Like I also identify as lesbian and queer. I don't necessarily identify as bi anymore though. I don't really think that that is like
me neither.
What feels the most authentic to me anymore. Maybe in 2020 it did, but now no.
Same. Yeah. Like I said, like when we made that TikTok, I didn't know what the label queer meant. I knew it was like a slur like in the past, but I didn't know that it was a label. And then
we've reclaimed it.
Yeah, someone commented and was like, maybe look up what the label queer is, because that's what this kind of seems what you're trying to say. Like a lot of people were also like educating us on what queer means and being like, I think you mean this label, like sort of
just
thing.
Use queer if you're like kind of in between labels or whatever. So I think it was a learning moment for us. Like our followers taught us a lot.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful that I learned what queer meant and labeling yourself as queer, because like I said earlier, like I label as queer and then lesbian because of our relationship and stuff like that.
I identify more with lesbian now, for sure.
You do?
Than bi.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
But
me
again,
too, me too.
Still, it's just so like fluid. Like, because like I'll identify as lesbian one day, and then like like you said, like I could find a man attractive and be like, oh,
and I'm like, what's going on?
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
So it was a very learning experience for us. But I think it's interesting how like sexual fluidity is becoming more normalized now. And I think that also helps people to like, because I feel like some like another like intention I kind of had behind that TikTok is like, for me personally, like I felt like there was a lot of pressure to label myself, and I didn't necessarily like the pressure was too much. And then I would like freak out because I'm like, I don't know what to label myself. And I feel like with sexual fluidity like becoming normalized, it kind of alleviates some of that pressure. And so that kind of probably makes a lot of people feel more welcomed in the community. Yeah. Because it was really interesting to see the community like fighting like against us and against each other in our comments. And we were like, oh no, like this was not our intention at all. And so I think it's really interesting that sexual fluidity is becoming normalized now for like I said, to kind of alleviate the pressure from those who maybe don't want to label themselves and they don't know how to label themselves, but they can just say this instead. I think that's really interesting.
For sure. Yeah. Do you ever regret deleting that account?
Yeah.
Do you?
I do.
Because like we would have been like way like our number, like we would have had like 1 million or like multiple millions of followers
like 10
by
million.
now.
I think we'd have like 10 million. I think we'd have a lot.
We would have been like way further in our career. Not that like further. I don't want to say further because I think that everything happens as it's meant to, and we just weren't ready for that level of fame at that point. But
yeah,
we would have had a way bigger platform than we do now with the trajectory of how things were going.
I think the reason I regret it is just because I think my ego regrets it, because I'd love to be further along and I'd love to have the amount of followers that we probably would have by this point. But like I said before, the thing is like, I think my ego regrets it, but I think like deep down, I don't regret it because like I said before, like I needed to educate myself. I needed to see different perspectives. I needed to like take accountability and just like figure out my own shit before, and like how to like word things that I mean. And like, there was just like a lot of things that went into that.
Yeah.
That a part of me, like deep down, like inside, I don't regret it because I needed to figure out who I am. And
for sure, we wouldn't have even probably known that we were autistic. Like, we wouldn't have gone on this whole self-discovery healing journey. Like, so
it also let me gain a lot more empathy towards people and towards the community. And like, just like, like, I think it was a big learning experience, and I don't blame people for calling us out on it. Like, I probably would have called myself out on it too. Like, I get it. But yeah, like, a part of me is really grateful that we're building our platforms now, because I feel like we're really confident in who we are.
Yeah.
And back then, I was definitely not as confident as I am now.
For sure. I'm also grateful for the experience. I'm glad that it happened the way it did. And I'm really happy with how like our life has turned out.
Yeah.
And, you know, even though we may not have as many followers as we could have, or whatever.
But the thing is,
that's just like ego need, and it doesn't necessarily equate to happiness. And I think we're really happy, and we've like learned how to cultivate happiness without all of that, without all of that like external gratification. Like, we've really built it up inside of ourselves, and that's way more meaningful than just using external circumstances to like boost you up and make you confident, because at the end of the day, you can't always control what happens in your life. And you have to, you know, even if life is shitty and like going downhill, like, you still need to have that like inner confidence. And I think we've built that inner confidence like since that happened, and now we can go about content creation. Just, I'm glad that we're, you know, doing this podcast now. Like, probably a couple queers wouldn't have been born. Like, we would have been on a completely different timeline. Like, that would have put us on a different timeline. And I don't believe in just chasing fame for fame's sake, because fame is an empty promise. And a lot of famous people are really fucking depressed, really fucking sad, lonely, isolated, like, don't like their lives. Like, being famous doesn't mean that you're happy. So I think that I am just really proud of like how far we've come. We've come so far.
We have.
And everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, like, my ego would have loved to do that. But also the way I try to twist it now and be like, you know what? Since we could have been that far, it doesn't mean that we can't be that far.
It's true.
In it. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So like, that's kind of what I want. Like, I have a really big intention of like, I love the community and family that I'm building and that we're building throughout our like platforms, and the people who tune in to watch a couple queers and that are on my TikTok and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I can like have conversations with them, whereas like I would take that more than any amount of followers any day.
Yeah, because I feel like you can connect with your followers more when you have like less, almost like, or you're not as bombarded by like all your comments. Like, you can kind of respond to more people sometimes.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, is like, the more followers you gain, the more you're going to see more dualities in your comments, which are people who really relate to you and people who just want to hate on you.
This is true.
And so then it's like, it's hard sometimes, like,
to even look at the comments.
Yeah, to even look at the comments. But like, you want to, because you want to be able to connect to the people who do relate to you. But it's like for example, when some of my like reels and stuff, when they go viral, like, I stop looking at the like comments after 30K.
You
like,
have to.
Even at 30K, like, I stop looking at the comments, because it can just like attract the duality of people who are against what I was saying.
For sure.
And I can't deal with that.
For sure. It's like literally so hard on your mental health. Like, no one talks about how hard being a content creator is on your mental health. And it's just like mentally and emotionally draining at times.
Yeah.
And physically. But yeah, I think, yeah, we have to learn how to like create boundaries, protect ourselves, protect our peace, but then also.
And I feel like back then we didn't really know how to do that.
No.
Like, not necessarily talking about the TikTok that we made. Like, I'm just saying in general, I just really loved the attention. And I didn't know, like, I just wanted to keep making TikToks, and I was like addicted to it. And I was like, I just want to post and post, and like, I'm getting all this attention. And like, I didn't quite know how to protect my peace and not like also having ADHD. Like, I was so addicted to scrolling, even more so than I am now. And like, just like being caught up in this new app at the time. And with the pandemic going on, like, we didn't know, like, we didn't have anything else to do.
For real.
And so I feel like I just wanted to throw myself out there without being protective of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to make any trend or whatever that was going on. And now I'm like, I ask myself, like, do I have the spoons to do this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I mean by protecting my energy, is like, okay, like, I have to do this and that today. Do I have enough spoons to make this TikTok? I ask myself that. And if I don't, then I don't force it.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, like, I would just do it even if I was exhausted. And I think that's a really important thing I've learned over the years.
We've learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. After that moment, I took a break from creating content until 2023.
Yeah, I took like a couple years break.
I took a 3-year break after that, because I was like, I really need to educate myself and learn who the fuck I am, because that one TikTok essentially did change my life. It sent me into questioning myself and questioning like my morals and all of that. So thank you for calling us out on stuff.
Y'all are real ones. We love you so much.
We do love you. If you supported us during Bye Daddies, if you support us now, or if you're new to us, if you've been doing it, whichever part of the journey you joined us on, thank you for being here.
You are the
really
reason.
Excited.
You are literally the reason we can like pursue our dreams. So
yes,
thank you.
Yes,
and this podcast means so much to both of us.
This podcast means so much. Like, we're posting weekly now. Like, it's just like when something feels really right and really important, I think that's the best time to act on it.
Yep.
And again, thank you for your support and even like educating us and calling us out on shit. Like, thank you. Like,
we love you.
Yeah. And I guess like we'll just end the episode there, because we'll end it on appreciating y'all, because y'all have been through it with us, and you're going to continue to be with us, hopefully. And if not, have a good life. Yes. And we'll see you maybe in the next one. But we hope that you have a good rest of your night, day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are listening to this. And thanks.
We'll see you next time on A Couple Queers.
Bye. Bye.